Greetings everyone, please give a moment to make sure everything's set on up. Twitch is going. YouTube is going. Rumble is going. Let's get everything's going good. Give me a moment to turn on the live chat windows and turn on my macros. Not sure if anybody else has this issue. Whenever I'm setting up a stream, I of course get a replay going. I've been hearing Sasha's theme for the past 15 minutes. It's sort of annoying the crap out of me, but that's probably more of a me thing. And looks like everything is good to go. Give me a moment to check my other computer. And looks like everything is good to go. Is my microphone on? Yes, it is. That's one thing I always forget, and one of the bigger things that can bite me in the butt. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn the V symbol as a blue or cobalt ice zombie. We got Sanic, the underscore. Spawn north side as the or the upside down V as the Umbra. What's the Umbra Wilds? Yep, Umbra Wilds Sasha. We got Math Joss. Just Math Joss. It felt like I was going to say something more, but I even fooled myself. Either way, let's get started. This map is a 4-base map. It also split. This map off is a 2 lab map. Both of them quite catchable, though this one's pretty close by, even on range of artillery, emergency artillery or rocket to help protect it. This map starts with player 2 with 4 infantry, player 1 with 2 infantry, and which may be pretty good for Zombie. It's hard to say. Zombie's probably going to have to more rely on her day-to-day because it's against Sasha, but then again, her power is very feasible. 3 stars, that's quite feasible. So a lot of times you see Sasha versus Hawk, and I find those games really boring because Sasha just makes the game not fun. But in this case, with 3 stars, Zombie should be able to blow out her power and get some double time going. Probably charge forward for armor and then fall off the infantry. Wait, isn't that the definition of like a breakthrough? Does Zombie have to play a breakthrough style in this game? Either way, let's get started. Of course, just infantry opener. There is a comm tower in both corners of the map, so if you capture the comm tower, you can eventually get a lab. You eventually get a comm tower. There's also an airport right here on that same lab slash comm tower side. Probably a good idea for both players to get that soon, before conflicts at least. And looks like Sam's going straight for the not lab, comm tower. I don't know why I keep the word lab and comm tower mixed up. They're two totally different things. One has an antenna, the other one has an antenna. One of them has a amplifier, the other one also has 2 amplifiers. Maybe that's why. I mean, the lab is basically a giant comm tower or a giant radio antenna, but more focused upward, I guess more observatory. Either way, tank does get a strike down infantry. Sasha, of course, gets 10% increased income. Zombie, of course, get 10% less firepower on all of our other units. But, of course, double 50% increased capture rate. I'm not sure how this game's going to go. Do you have a tank here? Zombie could actually push into the river this direction. It is actually possible for increased movement speed with her power and superpower and infantry focus, so she could do something weird and just go north. Can't say that's a good idea, but it's something that she can do. Does pick off 1 infantry unit there. Can't leave infantry units with 5 health. They will continue to capture and the property. You have to get at least 8 points of damage. 7 points will leave 3 capture progress, and the 2... I forget, does 7 allow 3 health? Does that allow 2 additional or 1 additional capture? I can't remember. Every time I think I remember, I keep on forgetting. Do you have a battle copter? Of course, she only gets minus 10% firepower. That's not too terrible. With 1 comm tower, they're effectively completely and utterly ordinary. Got an anti-air heading up north. Since there's the airport there, that's probably a good direction to deploy out anti-aircraft piece. Do have an APC deployed in the field, which is interesting since it's a tank and recon here. Though Sammy does have a tank in the region, which should be in range of this tank now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that tank is in range of tanks. I'm not sure why Sasha pushed forward that tank like that. Though there's a reinforcing tank there, so it'd be a chain of tanks. Got double artillery up here, so artillery, tank, and infantry. Plus some income, so right now she has 19 properties, both 20,900 income versus 19 properties. Simon does bring another tank down south. Both these tanks could reach the first strike, but one of them's on the city. Does boost there. Mech gonna be loaded on up with another tank in reserve. Does hit the can't speak. Does hit that infantry unit there. Some catches there. Tank hits tank. Finish off some outlying infantry there. This airport's still not obtained. Not a comm tower. Why did I try to say comm tower? Battlecopter heading over here would be very nice. Maybe want to go for an anti-air over here. Anti-airs will still be quite nice versus Sammy since she's more infantry focused. Anti-airs are still pretty good versus infantry. Tank infantry. To be fair, recons would be adequate as well. You just have to avoid mechs, which generally you want to avoid mechs to begin with. Does load up the mech there, drops on top of the mountain. This tank is trapped and decides to ignore this tank because it is effectively trapped there. The maybe will reach around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, can't reach the tanks. And not to mention the mech is also in the region, so can't go up north. May just need to take a shot against this infantry unit there. We'll have to take out this infantry unit for this thing to escape, but that's a bit of a tall order. Oh, bit of a join there. Tank, and infantry. Tank push up north. Does kill off that infantry unit there. And nice little block there, those infantry units. Very nice. Gotta clean up some of the pawns in the field. Oh, anti-air got right there. I didn't realize a ground vehicle could actually reach right there, to be honest. Which means, in theory, artillery can park up right there and start locking down both those bases. Granted, an artillery won't be able to take out a mech, and any CO should be able to counterattack with a mech wherever the artillery may have set itself up. Catching some of these properties here. Do have a medium tank down south as well. Sasha does have a more crash. She decides not to go for it. I wonder, is this actually a game for war bonds? She will have to calculate all the infantry movement. Well, either way, she has to avoid a victory march, but she may be able to squeeze in war bonds between possible victory marches. That may sound stupid, but there's a possibility where war bonds could be seen this game. And to play around the power, you just have to count 1 movement tile for all the infantry units, particularly the mechs. Double time does pose a threat, but not a massive one. Medium tank does pick off a tank. Oh, we got a market crash there. Neo tank. Got a lot of heavy over here. We do have a medium tank here by Sami. Which medium tanks, of course, can counter medium tanks and Neo tanks. However, it's a 1 versus 2 situation. She does have 23,000. Maybe we need to go for another medium tank up here rather than go for a Neo tank of her own. Mech gets the first strike there on the tank. Captures the lab map, which means this is effectively... Oh wait, no. I just realized Sasha's captured both of these maps. Okay, the diagonal has been established. And think as well, this is in sprinting range from the base, so this is unoccupied, and if you can sprint forward and capture it with a double or with victory march, this one can easily be obtained as well. Sneak infantry on the central mass and just sprint up there and capture it. It's probably a good idea for Sasha to park an infantry on top of each lab, just to deny the victory march or make it a bit more difficult. Tank, 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 and infantry. Infantry unit could get a good strike there on the mech. Might as well go for it. It's on 4 defense stars, but I think it'll still be cost effective enough. I mean, all you need to do is 4 points of damage, and that infantry unit paid for it, so fight against the mech. 3 points of damage is probably adequate enough. That would be 900. Infantry unit does hit infantry unit. Try and claim that base there. Nothing occupied though at the moment. Got another meeting tank down here. Sasha's using that improved income to get a good number of meeting tanks, but right now Sami does have more income. We do have another medium or a medium tank mech infantry down to 3,000. Probably infantry unit up here. Yep. Instead of 120,000 even, 134. So outlying infantry there. This airport has 12 capture progress remaining. A decent amount. Medium tank does strike medium tank, however, it's not going to be ranged to medium tank. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even right now, popping a double time would give Sami +10/+10 global, which may be worth of the medium tanks. You can't be really eyeing optimal powers and superpowers when fighting against Sasha. Just take what you can get powers. Does pop market crash there, wiping out the power charge of Sami. And she captured a couple more properties. 26 versus 19. That is quite a significant difference. Might as well. There is, of course, always capture victory through that method. 2 of them being captured there. Comm tower, it's going to take a bit of time to get that captured. It's the artillery. I hear a lot of capturing going. Well, this is Sami, of course. Medium tank does strike medium tank. Of course, with my Simpson firepower, it does hurt, or not hurt, should I say. Medium tank heading over here. So we've got infantry, Neo tank up north. This Neo tank's pretty out of range. Another infantry up unit up there. I can't speak. Infantry unit up there. I also wonder what units are banned. Nothing. Nothing's banned, so you can develop pipe runners if you would like. Tank does hit tank. Does strike the artillery there. Do have double time available, but no market crash available. This medium tank is going to be out of range, but market crash could help out the battlecopter get a little extra firepower bonuses. I think Sami could eye for a double time this turn, just because not like she's going to have access to it any other time. Double time has been activated. Getting some great shots on the infantry units there. Does finish off the tank. Medium tanks finish off the infantry unit there. Does hit the anti-air. Along the battlecopter advance forward. It's another infantry unit there. Battlecopter strikes medium tank. Didn't clean up that infantry unit there, so the medium tank could not get struck in this medium tank. Mech does get dropped off. Interrupts the capture with a 2 health infantry unit there. New tank advancing, onto the city infantry bomber. 2,900 funds remaining, so got infantry probably. Well, Sami should be able to capture down south here. Lab will be captured up next turn. Which means one lab remaining for Sasha, though she can possibly reclaim this map or this lab, which I think she should start prioritizing getting that captured, since Sami's going for this lab here. It's best to have a bit of buffer. Does use the 1 health infantry to block the advance in the Neo tank, and this infantry unit can't range it because going to the mountaintops will be 1, 2, 3. We'll need 4 fire, so we'll need a full double time for the 8 health infantry to strike the 1 health. Not double time, victory march. Anti-air did not sack himself in the battlecopter. I hear more properties catch 27 versus 18. That's getting quite threatening. Start sketching that base. All your base belongs to us. And that's a clean sweep down south. And there's a number of properties here that Sami could start capturing up. Bomber could try heading towards the center part of the map to avoid the anti-airs and find an opportunity. Just find an opportunity. Another Neo tank up there. Infantry, infantry, infantry. Artillery does strike the Neo tank. Neo tank goes for Neo tank. You have a war bonds. Probably would see a market crash. If she had that war bond started, that probably would have been time for the war bonds because we've got 11,000. She needs as much money as possible right now. No market crash, so we may actually see a war bonds next turn. Double time activated. Anti-air tank. Infantry. This may be the turn for war bonds. This is 11,000 funds Sasha could claim right here. It's 50% damage dealt, right? I don't think I've ever seen a war bonds popped. Sasha, receive. Let's see. Partial see it. You receive funds equals 50% damage dealt when attacking enemy units. I wonder if that applies to her own units. No war bonds. She probably could have got at least 12,000 funds this turn. Which I don't know if that's worth it or not. She is doing quite well in value. The problem is it's the properties. 29 versus 17 again. Bomber hits tank. Neo tank up north. And we do also have now the lab potentially could be captured next turn. Start being captured. Infantry, mech, Neo tank. Capture some properties. 26 versus 20. Still access to war bonds. Neo tank is surrounded. Does an infantry unit there. And with the artillery range, the medium tank. Yeah. Oh, nope. The artillery does get struck by the battlecopter. But the battlecopter could be knocked out of the air by the anti-air. Oops. Something died up there. This actually is probably a... I keep on saying war bonds. We got Neo tank in range 2 artillery. Got the interior range of a battlecopter. Potentially in the range of a bomber. And those Neo tanks being shelled, so no war bonds. And for battle copter down, so let's round it up to help also support all the infantry that could possibly get hit. Market crash there. Could have gotten about 16,000 funds there. Almost a full turn's worth of funding. Probably for all the other engagements, probably a full turn's worth of funding. Anti-air, infantry, infantry. A lab once again being captured. Anti-air, anti-air tank. This lab's currently captured, so right now, actually, Sasha has 3 labs, though this one's not any threat, and this one's about to get flipped. There's some outlying infantry units there. And we've got a bomber here. Lots of captures, 26 versus 20 right now. It's nice to strike there. I just realized this also was double base skip there. Some captures going on. Capture the city there, hits the infantry unit. Hits that infantry unit there. Bomber and battlecopter rotates around. Anti-air, infantry, and infantry. Does capture comm towers, so right now Sasha does, or Sammy does have both comm towers, giving her increased firepower. Tank. It's a regular tank there. We have double time available. Interrupts that capture. And our artillery there. And right now the property's at 23, and so that will be changing. Overall, seems like both players are going counterclockwise. We do now have another market crash. Currently, market crash will cost 32,000. Double time costs 37,000. Does hit that artillery a little bit there. Medium tank does enter the range of artillery. 2 of them. This probably was not a good idea. Tank anti-air. Tank and commit space skip. Right now it's north versus south. Medium tank does get struck twice. Does look at the medium tank over there. Infantry is getting hit. We do now have a market crash available. APC does go down. Strikes a good number of those tanks there. Another bomber, however, we do have anti-air range, but there's currently 2 bombers in this region. Bombers are low on fuel, so that losing the APC is a bit of a problem. 3 health anti-air could do something. But right now looking pretty good for Sasha right now. It feels like Sasha's in the back for most of this game, but she has quite a substantial lead, 134,000. Summery right now is 143 for day-to-day, so it's added 20,000, so it's effectively 160. Bomber does strike the Neo tank, pops the power. New tank takes out medium tank. Anti-air will strike the bomber. Does remove a bomber. Or does not leave it pretty low wounded. Surrounds this bomber. Now strike another artillery there. Mech, infantry, and anti-air. Does hit the battlecopter twice. Sets free the bomber, pops a market crash, which will reduce all the power charge down to 0. Bomber gets a good strike there. Market crash not only drained what little power charge that Summery had, it also gives a +10/+10 global, which I think is the primary reason why she popped her power. Good strikes on those tanks there. Another bomber, infantry commits a base skip. And Sami does go ahead and resign. A pretty good comeback by Sasha. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. If you all can give me a moment, I just need to grab a drink from nearby. Oh wait, no, I have one right here. Just need to open up. And there we go. Let's see now. This one was this one. And now on to one that was submitted to me. Few moments, just the replay. I just realized something as well. Everything's sort of shown. I'm just going to hit the next turn. There we go. That clears that up. That seems pretty good. So let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. As well on the north side as the, what is this, Teal Galaxy? Yeah, Teal Galaxy Andy. We got Matemon. Spawn south side as the Purple Lightning Drake. We got Muji 6. With this sort of matchup, of course, Andy's Hyper Repair can out-repair the global damage from Drake, but not the fuel expenditure, so it's maybe better for Drake to go for tsunamis rather than typhoons. Also try to get desynced from the opponent's power, which could be a little bit difficult, just to wait and see. This map appears to be a 3-base map, 2 comm towers, pair of seaports, 1 airport, 2 seaports here. These are only meant for the brown water ships. These can support blue water ships as battleships or aircraft carriers. By the way, let's get started. Drake's catching up at airport, however, he has minus 30% firepower on aircraft, so really avoid them. Even with 2 comm towers, they still don't do that great. This map also promotes usage of black boats, if not landers later on, to get units up north this direction. You can go for a pipe runner here, but even then, probably not that useful. Infantry deploy in the field. Andy, of course, has no day-to-day, so he doesn't have any problems with deploying out aircraft, if Andy figures out what an airport is. Drake's ground vehicles are completely and utterly ordinary. Double artillery by Andy this turn. That's interesting. Of course, artillery is pretty nice to clean out the pipe seam, so Is Andy going to try to shell that the pipe team of 2 artillery? Guess we'll find out soon enough. This comm tower is captured up by the person who's closer to it, but this can easily be captured. The only land access here for vehicles is through the strait here, as well as right here. Gonna shell this pipe scene. I hear a lot. How many captures was that? That was a lot. Pipe scene goes down in 1 turn. And the thing is, well, this black boat just parked itself right there. The mech can turn around and get loaded with the black boat. So that is pretty nice placement there. Use the mech to clear it out and can still be loaded up. And also the sentry is in range as well, so excellent timing there. That's probably one reason why he went for double artillery. He has a very good build order, looks like. I don't really cover build orders too much, other than it's like, hey, this person's gone for, say, infantry, and anti-air. But in this case, a very good opener right there. This pipe scene's not cleared on out. Anti-air mech, another tank. Trying to flip some properties here. Of course, that's at 8 health. This is at full health. Can easily be interrupted by this infantry unit nearby. Nothing to stop the recon nor tanks start hitting this stuff up here. Black boat's almost out of fuel. Infantry unit power to get loaded up in the black boat as well. Interrupts both those captures now. And battlecopter tank and double infantry. Hits the infantry unit. Infantry, and anti-air. Does hit the recon. And recon goes down. Artillery, mech, infantry. Nothing too significant. Nothing like 2 tanks and anti-air up here. Battlecopter making its way down south. There's, of course, a Drake battlecopter. Won't be too great. Another AD battlecopter, parry infantries, and a recon. And the tank immediately gets in range of the artillery. Not to mention another tank, so that is going to be a free tank. Did take out a recon, but that's still not worth. I got a Neo tank, mech, and infantry at right now 23,000, encumbers 21. We got 22. Gets shells that tank there. Pulls up another tank to catch that point. Hit that tank. Mech, battlecopter, double infantry, or just a infantry recon, I should say. Ugh, my mind's melted right now. It's infantry unit there. It's been a Monday, that's for sure. It's been a busy day. Battlecopter does strike the tank there, but only gets 4 points of damage because of Drake battlecopter. He does. Both players have 2 column towers mode. Anti-air is in range of this battlecopter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 tower range. Medium tank, recon, and infantry. Good picks there. The artillery's in the forest, so does not see the tank not in range of it. Not to mention the anti-air. Probably best strike a regular tank and try and take out anti-air. Though clear that anti-air would result in no anti-air coverage up north. Though he's right now out of battle copper, so that's not important. Neo-tank, infantry, and mech. Does take out the tank there? Infantry, recon, anti-air, and battlecopter. Did clean up that 7 health tank there. Neo tank almost in range. Could easily be spotted, but currently is not. Battlecopter hits infantry in there. There's no adequate anti-air over here to stop the battlecopters from ruffling about. This Black Hole 16 fuel, gotta be careful trying to make another chirp like this. The APC could resupply before it pushes forward. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. Big ground captures both for 24,000 for 23, or 24 properties for 23 properties. Gotta strike the anti-air up north. We'll finish it off. Another anti-air still exists. Infantry, and anti-air. Got pretty close to a Typhoon, which can, of course, can be countered by a hyper repair. Both superpowers now available. Will he pop it? It may be best for Drake just hold on to it to deny the Swamp from using his hyper upgrade. Or he could pop his power, force the opponent to pop his power. Yeah. It may be best just to hold on to superpower for Drake. Prevent your opponent from going for a power or superpower by holding on to your own power or superpower. But in this case, Andy can still pop his power if needed, since he could still almost have enough just for another superpower or another power. Column tower will not be captured this turn. Bomber, mech, infantry. So Indy does go for full bomber. A double column tower. That bomber maybe one-shot anti-airs. With his sap power or superpower, definitely will. Artillery and infantry. Does show the anti-air. And thinking about anti-air, with our castle, we see no more anti-airs up here. 2 more on the way, but battlecopters could do some good work. Bomber also advancing. Artillery, battlecopter, recon, and another tank. Both superpowers are still just held on. Neo tank, infantry, and mech. Does set that infantry in there. T-copter, neo tank, and double infantry. You now have the comm tower being captured up here. Artillery is in position to use spade. Neotanks lurk in the woods. Tank, and anti-air. Tank push forward, hits the recon. Recon hits the recon. Battlecopter interrupts the capture, which the artillery cannot intercept. But we do have some anti-airs nearby to intercept. The thing is, well, even if stuff gets damaged, AD's able to repair it up, so Drake has to be careful about it. Got another pair of recons, artillery, and a battlecopter. It's infantry unit twice. Anti-air and battlecopter in range. It's our recon. Battlecopter and anti-air here, still not spotted. Let's take the battlecopter up north. Tanks and mechs in range. Instead of 139,000 versus 135, so still pretty even. Tank hits anti-air, mech hits anti-air, infantry hits infantry. Tank hits artillery, anti-air hits infantry. We've got this anti-air. If that one goes down, now all of Andy's aircraft can just push forward. Good shot there on that battlecopter. Now the superpower now being activated, gains a good amount of global damage. Anti-air does strike the battlecopter. Anti-air does strike a recon. It's an infantry unit there. Neotank strikes Neotank. Almost does finish it off. Thanks to 3 health artillery nearby. Right now I don't see any real need for superpower, just regular power. It all depends on whether or not he needs +1 movement range. With the rain, that could be unneeded. Infantry, recon, battlecopter, and anti-air. Bombers in range of the Neotank. Do have the full superpower. Not only give him 5 health restoration globally, going up to 205,000. It does also give him plus 10% additional firepower and +1 movement, along with the plus 10% activated for acting power or superpower. Artillery does soften with the Neotank, so does the battlecopter. Neotank finish off the Neotank. Bomber ranges Neotank, one-shotting it. Well, maybe to receive a pretty good beating there from the anti-air next turn. At least has stun is equal weight in value. And as well, if it survives, AD could try pulling back and let the superpowers repair it. Anti-air, mech, battlecopter, and recon. Of course, there's also a whatchamacallit, HQ there with a black boat. Does get some good hits there. Mechs in range, one spotted, one's not. Artillery, of course, in range. So this Neotank could be struck by 2 artillery and a mech. That should probably take it out, or get pretty close. He is doing quite well, that's for sure. I think this is a matchup that Andy generally likes versus Drake. Drake, I think, should be trying to pop out his power, just to start doing a fuel bleed issues. Infantry, battlecopter, infantry, tank, and I think Drake's been doing too many battlecopters. Does take a tank there. Anti-air takes out anti-air. And of course did lose his bomber, so 4 battlecopters remain. Takes out artillery there. There's 5 health artillery, gets a good shot on in somewhere. Does get some good shots over here. Interrupts that capture as well. We almost got another superpower here. Look at this. superpower before he even gets the power. Oh. He's probably going to pop the power next turn. Drake is going to pop a superpower. There's a good argument to go for regular power, but we'll see soon enough. He is at 106, 80's at 91. Down to 149. Hit some units up here. Picks off a lot of wounded units. Neo-tank infantry. Oh, and he does just go outright, resigns right there. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. Yep, we can do this one next. That should be pretty good. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on the south side is a Blue Moon Eagle. We got Leviathan JVL. Still don't know how to pronounce his name. So on the north side as the Yellow Comet Von Bolt. I suppose the comet, it sort of does like a bolt color. We have Sloop John B. Sloop is a ship type, though it's something that it's been, I think, before or during 1700s as a classification of ship. Either way, let's go ahead and get started. This map is a 3-base map, 1 airport, a pair of seaports. When I say pair, I mean 3. There's also 4 comm towers on the map. Of course, one's guaranteed. These 2 over here are contestable. Both players do starts off a recon here. Both players do start off with a lander here, which is needed because there's no non-infantry pathing onto the central island. With the mountains here, sort of reminds me, I don't know why these small little islands reminds me of the island of Formosa. One side is filled with mountains, the other side is filled with not mountains. But that's completely irrelevant in this situation. Oh, got an early T-copter by Eagle. He does have basically infinite fuel for a T-copter. There's also... I keep on getting mixed up the Days of Ruin one where there are capturable cities off and out in the sea. In this case, they are still reachable by land. Lander does advance the way forward with an infantry unit there. Recon does spot this. Triple infantry there. Does strike the pipe scene for 1 point of damage. And the recon does get a bit more than 1 point of damage there. More infantry, this time by Von Bolt. Got a regular tank now pulled in the field. Does take out that infantry unit there. Going for the comm tower, so that's maybe one reason why you went T-copter to get there. And then I'm supposed to go for T-copter. My mind's completely melted right now. Long Monday. Recon does drop intercept and gets a good strike there. Eagle's ground vehicle is completely and utterly ordinary. Battlecopter in triple infantry there. Bombbolt, of course, gets +10/+10 global, which is a pretty good counterpart for his battlecopter spared +15/+10, and able to rough about indefinitely. Of course, Eagle does lose out a bit of firepower on Navy units, which is not too big of a problem in this map. Even though there's a lot of water here, that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. Capturing this comm tower now, should be able to secure that. Tank anti-air and infantry. Interrupts the capture, interrupts it even further. Fully stops capture, hits the recon, does not take it out. Drops this capture as well. Right now, Vombo has 16 versus 20 properties. He's going to capture at least 4 or 3 this turn, I can see. 4, it includes the comm towers. So right now, Vombo does have 2 comm towers versus Eagle's just 1. Battlecopter and triple infantry. It does strike that infantry unit thrice and starting to flip that comm tower. Vulnerable has not started capturing up this comm tower down here. The could be able to capture it starting it next turn. Does hit the recon. Lander does spot the recon there. 21 fuel remains, so we'll need to start eyeing for our refuels relatively soon. Battlecopter, tank, recon, and infantry. Recon up north does go down, does hit the recon down south. Battlecopter does get a good strike there on the tank, however, maybe in range of anti-air. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If there's a clear path, it can range it. Over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one's out of range. Nope, gets trapped down there. Neo-tank recon landed down to 26 fuel. Does get some good strikes in the center. Oh, and does manage to get the breakthrough both its infantry units to hit that battlecopter. So surprised he was able to do that. Even assume 2 infantry in a row would be a bit of a problem, but it looks like it was not. Tank does hit the infantry unit there. T-copter, of course, gets loaded on up. Tank hits the anti-air. Infantry, 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 and battlecopter, keeping 10,000 in the bank. What units are banned on this map? Nothing is banned, so you can always go for a pipe runner. Harper's up north being captured. Right now, Eagle has 2 comm towers, so does Von Bolt. Does get trapped there. And the recon does not go down there because it strikes the infantry unit behind it. The recon is basically trapped. Yep, now it's fully trapped. No, it can probably escape out over here. That's probably its best course of action, or sack itself on something. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. Does get a good hit there. Tank hits the anti-air. Anti-air hits the anti-air. Perfect. After all, you can always go for a pipe runner next to the city so it can move on to this pipe scene. Bomber by Von Bolt. Mech, infantry, and infantry. Capture a couple properties up north. 24,000 versus 21. A lander does land itself on top of a seaport. Because it needs fuel. This one has 15 fuel, but will be resupplied by the APC next turn. Infantry, and battlecopter. Oh, infantry unit got dismounted over here. Takes off some more infantry units in the center. I swear, it hasn't felt like there's any big massive engagement, but both players came pretty close to their superpowers. Von Bolt's Ex Machina can be baited. There's a good number of landers on the field which can easily bait it. I mean, this lander with a Newton next to it, that is definitely where a Ex Machina would land. If not hits right here, it'd also hit the recon. If unit gets struck. You could try to group both landers together with Ex Machina. Another Neotank there. That seems like a good spot for Ex Machina. Problem is he needs a bit more energy done. Right now got 71,200 versus 77, so Von Bolt has done more damage so far this game. A lightning strike is available, however, it's not going to be very useful. Eagle's forces are just not plentiful in this of the map. Infantry, and mech of another battlecopter and a battlecopter, so I've got a quintuple deployment. Oh, dismounts the APC. I think just got loaded up and immediately gets dismounted. It's the pipe scene. Now we've got triple battle copters, 2 neo tanks, and a couple of tanks in reserve for a line strike. Should be pretty good. The problem is the front lines are just not even drawn. There's a lot of no man's land in the center. Von Bolt is very concerned with line drive, as he should be, but with our cast of infantry, we know there's not a big threat of it at the moment. So Eagle can actually take his time and push forward. You see a good number of forces here, stockpiling up, ready for a counterattack. Tank, recon, tank, with another battlecopter. Von Bolt right now is at 5 battlecopters, Eagle's at 5. Looks like Eagle built another black boat, or not necessarily another, but a black boat. Recon hits recon. Does finish off said recon. Infantry units trying to push the way forward. He wants to make progress. He can't necessarily wait around for the lightning strike. He can nerf the lightning strike with a Ex Machina. Doesn't have it available though. Another bomber. T-copter is up north, low on fuel at 25 fuel. Sort of fast forward a little bit. You have a fighter deployed in the field. Recon, and anti-air. Another battlecopter. Von Bolts has 6 battlecopters. Ex Machina is now available. Let's see. This might be Ex Machina bait down here. But these two Neo-Tanks are too close to each other. I think the Ex Machina should land and strike both Neo-Tanks. Oh, lightning strike, that's what's going on. I was like wondering, I was just thinking Ex Machina, but here comes lightning strike. Both Neo-Tanks and all the battlecopters are ready to blitz their way forward. Let's see, Von Bolt's at 228. Eagles at 267, so Eagles has a pretty good position right now. Spots the bomber. Fighter might be in range. It's hard to say with all the stuff in front of it. Does strike the bomber. One more bomber still available. The fighter's got a pretty good sortie there. And things, well, there is a shore there, so it could be struck by anti-air. Problem is there's no anti-air over nearby to engage it. This is, of course, has land mass and mounts in front of it. However, the Ex Machina could be devastating. He does get a good amount of damage there. Von Bolt still has a good amount of battlecopters raffling about. Got knocked down to 172. So he's pretty far behind, but let's see where the Ex Machina lands. It will does put the Neo-Tanks. This might be Ex Machina bait right there. Strike both landers on battlecopter. But easily strike one of these formations and stuff. Like if you sprints this infantry unit down south to avoid disrupting the targeting, it could strike right here. It actually may strike right here. It's really hard to say. It did. Ex Machina struck right there, so also hit this battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Eagle's central flank, which is not really flank, is completely locked down. This is still can go Von Bolt's way. 27 units versus 48. But remember, this is effectively his double turn now. With the central flank now locked down. The only problem is his fighter. I say he has to have to ignore the fighter. He can strike everything that's not locked down in front of him. He is lacking vision. This is Ex Machina, does not take out that one unit. He does have extra defense on some of his air units. Hits that battlecopter there. Remember, this tank and battlecopter are Ex Machina. Infantry, and a fighter for a dogfight. Now, Eagle got sent down. He's still about a full turn value ahead. He has one used Neo-Tank, but that's basically it. He has a wounded tank, a couple wounded battlecopters, and a recon. He does not have much to work with. Neo-Tank at least get a first strike Neo-Tank, but... And the fighter... Don't think the fighter can range the bomber. The fighter can't range the bomber can range the Neo-Tank. It'll still probably be a good idea to send the Neo-Tank to the Neo-Tank. But still, it's not actually looking good for Eagle. He sacked a lot of stuff. He's trying to break through the battlecopter. Breaks through the battlecopter, so now the fighter can sortie and dogfight with the bomber. Bomber goes down. However, Von Bolt still has a fully usable Neo-Tank here to strike the Neo-Tank. Losing bomber it hurts, but he has all the assets he can use. Gotta mention all of Eagle's battlecopters could be shot down by Von Bolt's, because after all, it is now next turn is Von Bolt's lightning strike turn, effectively. See, this fighter can't sortie down south far enough. He has an anti-air who can range the fighter here. Yeah, he is down by 40,000, which is about 2 turns, but Von Bolt can make some stuff happen this turn. Fighter, basically done for. Neotink does not strike the Neotink, which is interesting. Maybe we're going to use some battle cops for that. Takes out a battlecopter there. Bombboat did pull quite a bit ahead, but of course the Day-Day funds are basically even at this moment. Sort of surprised the Neotink didn't strike Neotink. That is a 7 health Neotink right now. A full health Neotink couldn't knock it out, then this Neotink has basically full reign over here. So I disagree. I really do think Bombboat should attack the Neotink with his Neotink. Unless there's something I'm missing. His Neotink is superior, has plus 10% firepower inherently. Both players do have 2 column towers. We have a bomber here by Eagle. However, Von Bolt still has his fighter ready for a sortie. That'll strike the Neotink there. Do now have a lightning strike available once again for Eagle. Infantry, battlecopter. Let's see, will there be a lightning strike? Good number of battlecopters go down. Does spot the... Actually, this Neotink could be bombed. I think that would be in range of the bomber. Need some outlying units there. Hits this tank here. Lightning strike. A lightning strike has been popped. Yep, and the Neotink's in range of the bomber. It gets what, plus 50% firepower in total with the Eagle's air units. Some of these units actually getting pretty low in fuel. Rig or APC would be refueling them. Could sack the fighter into the fighter. Hits the fighter with a 3 health anti-air. It may actually be a good idea to sack the 2 health fighter into it, just wound enough so the bomber can at least get another bombing run. Neotink knocked out. We do have another Ex Machina available, which will likely strike this bomber directly. Or could strike right here. It's probably striking over here. Guess we'll find out soon enough. Hit the battlecopters here. Did not hit the recon, so it looks like it struck this bomber directly. Does get some hits there. Anti-air does take up the battlecopter. Anti-air hits the recon. Infantry hits the recon. Comm tower not be captured. Battlecopter strikes a tank. Fighter goes... He knows the bomber is Ex Machina, so he doesn't have to go straight for the bomber. He can save it the next turn. Especially when he gets a little less defense for the superpower. Granted, he has plus 10 himself this turn, so it doesn't really matter much. 135 versus 115 with his day-to-day funds. Eagle still ahead. Of course, some valuable assets in the center are locked down. We've got a medium tank down south now. Anti-air, battlecopter. And that was a pretty weak turn there by Eagle. 154 versus 134, so he still has a value advantage, but nothing too crazy. Finish off the tank. Tanks nearby can take out that anti-air, no problem. Okay, use the fighter to take out the fighter. Now at least he one-shot the bomber, so he went to save the fighter, which is probably a good thing. Black boat, infantry, and battlecopter. Another quintuple deployment. Just a bit more of unusual matter this way. Right now it's 24,000 versus 28,000 income. Medium tank does take out the, or puts a good round of recon. Finish it off there. This game can still go either way. I'm not sure how this game's going to go still. It feels like Eagle's still in a good position, but they're pretty even value. 148 versus 149, 7,000, 4,000 in bank. Yeah, these two players are effectively equal at the moment. Does take the recon. It's the capping squad trying to go through the comp towers. Like 10 capture progress remaining, so now it's very far away. Kind of always trying to capture the 9 health. It looks like Von Bolt's gonna make a threat for these properties up here, which is probably a good idea. Start playing the capturing game. Neo tank, recon, and infantry. I know Eagle has consistently had the income lead and keeps losing it. Yep. Your money's on Von Bolt. I always liked Eagle is such a strong CO. Von Bolt is a good CO, but I perceive him as strong as Eagle. So I'm always trying to root for the underdog. So I view Von Bolt as underdog in this matchup. I'm not sure what you think. Eagle's always been a strong pick. Von Bolt is nice with +10/+10 global. Ex Machina is situational, and players can really play around with the, especially with this map with 2 landers. I'm really surprised Eagle's not been able to bait out Ex Machina with double lander. Like, that is usually guaranteed to bait out Ex Machina. That's one reason why Von Bolt's generally pretty weak, because it's easy to bait out Ex Machina to the landers you get for free. But in this case, twice, that was not the case. Battlecopter, infantry, and battlecopter. And Von Bolt's been very heavy battlecopter this entire game. It's been quite successful for him. He's at 6 versus 3. Eagle still has a fighter in the field. I think that's like the 2. No, that's a fresh fighter from last turn. Full health fighter. And both players are for swapping comm towers. When it comes to unit count as well, 33 versus 33. 199, that sort of jumped up. May have been something weird going on with the fundings right here. But 199 versus 182. Resupplies a lander with a black boat. Probably dropped a new fuel tank at the back of the ship. Good shots there. Tank. Takes on infantry unit there. Tank hits tank. Let's see, should not be close enough to a lightning strike. Does that unit over there. Battlecopter hits the infantry. It's the recon, anti-air, tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Neo tank does strike the medium tank and mans one-shot it as well. 0 defense stars, plus 30% firepower in total. Mech infantry. Von Bolt does have another fighter on the field ready for a sortie. The amount of battlecruisers on the field, he does need a heavy number of fighters. I think this tank should go for the anti-air, put a round into it. Yes, he does. Does get resupply to 8. Probably can still one-shot with the battlecopters. A lightning strike is now available. If he spots this fighter, that's going to be a bit of a problem for Von Bolt. Because if he spots the fighter, then the fighter can get a first strike on this fighter. Oh, He found it. The 1 health anti-air decides to blitz its way forward for spotting. This may be the turn where Eagle wins the game. I think knocking out this fighter for free is going to be massive. He did not prepare for this lightning strike this turn. I think he was a little bit too aggressive at the end of the turn, I guess. Because he can't be losing a fighter like this. Though, yeah, Volbolt's going to lose his entire flank. Right now he's at 180,000 even versus 210 here. Ex Machina's available. Fighter does not go to the fighter. Anti-air puts around. Anti-air puts more rounds. 3L fighter's not great. Good chance Ex Machina will strike right here, hitting the Neo Tank and fighter. No, strike right here, hits Neo Tank, fighter, anti-air, battlecopter, which means this fighter needs to get on out of there, or also get struck by the Ex Machina or displace the Ex Machina. Because right now it likely will strike right here if the fighter's moved out of the way. Oh, a struck right here. Fighter did get struck, it's down at 1% health. Easy pickings for that 1 health anti-air. Never mind, there's no longer 1 health anti-air there. And Volbolt has resigned. Yep, I think that lightning strike was just a little bit too much Volbolt. He did not prepare for it. This Angerade saying, thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Before we get started next replay, I do need to use the restroom. Please give me a moment. I'm back. For the Eagle nerf, I say remove the 2 fuel less consumption per day. That effect is almost worthless. Very rarely that's useful. Either way, let's get on to the next replay. We'll have time for one last replay for tonight. Let me try to find a good one. Oh yeah, this is a replay. Even though it's a mirror matchup, I looked at it on the surface. I sort of want to do this one. I don't usually do mirror matchups, but this one struck a chord with me when I looked at just looked at a surface. Granted, I don't really look into the replay too much since I'm more in the mass production design. But this one, I looked on the surface. I wanted to do it. One of the few times I would do a mirror matchup. That, of course, is the replay that's not submitted to me. So, let's go ahead and get started. Greetings everyone, Angerade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. Spawn on the right side as the Fire Red Kindle. We've got Matagadi. Oh, I butchered that name as well. Matagai. Overthinking it. Spawn on the left side as the Brown Desert Kindle. We got Matiophir. I pronounce these names. Matiophio? How do I spell the name? Matiof? Or Matiophio? Maybe that's probably it. Matiophio. Because when I try to split up this name into syllables, but I just don't know where to split them. My knowledge of syllables is like, I can view it that way or that way. Either way, let's get started. This is a mirror matchup. I don't really cover mirror matches all too often, but I do think this is going to be a good one. Oh yeah, I think I remember something as well. Restart themes every turn. Let me see if that will... I may need to refresh the game. And that'll hopefully make a continuous loop. Now it looks like it's not doing it. Did it stay? Yes. Seamless loop. I actually have that one there. Yeah, oh well. Of course, initial infantry production stage. Well, I cannot speak. We've got a T-copter here. An APC here, so both players gone for a transport. And of course, both players do start for Black Boat. Fire Red does pull off his or her Black Boat first. Wait. Is that what it's I hear like it's doing the continuous loop, but it's also doing the intro bit every single time. I think you hear that it goes down, 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 and then it goes the seamless loop. That's weird. So the seamless part sort of bugging out. I'm curious if there's a... Wait, is this it? Is that what's causing the issue? I can have the intro replay every single time and have seamless loop. That's a stupid combination. I think it's doing the continuous loop now. It is, okay. Apparently you could have a setting to replay the intro and seamless loop. That's just funny to me. Yeah, good number of artillery and tanks on the field. Right now, Fire Red has 1 artillery, 2 tanks. Brown Desert has 1 or 2 artillery, 1 tank. Well, this is a mirror matchup, of course. And all of the properties are just now hot spots the entire game. This infantry unit there. This infantry unit is on top of the mountain, able to spot a good number of distance. Recon on top of the point. Mech can get a good strike there in the recon. Artillery will be in range to potentially get a strike from over here. Lots of captures there. Recon hits the infantry unit there. Seems well if something charged forward hits the recon, fall back, tank get on top, and retaliates for a good amount of damage. I wonder if there's going to be different ways how these players start pulling out their powers and superpowers. Will we see High Society? It is a good superpower, and it's a good number of properties this map. So at least both players should be able to get a plus 75% firepower with their High Societies, if I'm not mistaken. And I wonder if one player just spams out everybody as soon as he get it, or will they wait so they pop Urban Blight to also go with the boosted strikes from the cities. After all, with just even Urban Blight, your firepower bonus will go from 40% to 80%. Your superpower increases to 130%, along with all the global firepower bonuses, so you could be looking at plus 200% firepower from a city, which is absurd. That's power of money's worth of firepower on very limited locations. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and recon. Both players can pull out some battlecopters. Artillery, tank, and anti-air. Infantry unit gets it twice. Does spot the infantry unit in the shore. Having a good time at the beach. Medium tank, infantry, the medium tank on the field. Get a boost strike down the infantry unit. tank lurk in the woods. Let's clear up that city there and put an infantry on top of it. Gotta remember as well, every property is a fire base, basically. Or fire red base. That was a horrible pun. Because the term fire base may not be used in a game like this. I play a lot of other games as well. Oh, boost strike onto the city there. Plus 40% firepower is greater than plus 30% defense. By a pretty good margin. Here's things well, recon get cleared out. I was going to say, then this thing can push forward, a good boost strike there, but there's good enough forces there. Not to mention artillery provide a good fire support. Gets the tank there, gets the tank there. Urban Light would do a decent amount of damage against Brown Desert right now. Does pop Urban Blight there, strikes his infantry there, hits this tank, this artillery, tank, battlecopter, some infantry units there. So good amount of damage there. Clears out the city. Oh, does not clear out the city. Does clear it out there. Anti-air strikes recon, battlecopter strikes recon, battlecopter strikes artillery. Tank hits recon, infantry hits that one, and boost strike there on the recon, knocking it out. And there's a good amount of mass in front of these battlecopters, so the anti-airs may not be able to range it. But to clear out two things from them, which can be easily softened up with Urban Blight on this tank here. Actually, this may be a case of a high society if possible. Right now, if Brown Desert gets a high society, 25 properties will be plus 75% firepower, which could be useful in order to rearrange everything in the back line. Hard to say though. Looks like just general pullback. Both players are calm tower, though Brown Desert may claim this one. Fire Red's on the front doorstep. Or is that the back door? Hard to say. And things well, Fire Red should probably avoid parking stuff on top of properties because of Urban Blight. And should also probably avoid being next to a property because of fighting against Kindle. Just avoid properties if you fight against Kindle. Even though that's usually the goal of the game is to go for properties. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. 3 properties being captured, which may warrant a high society or Urban Blight itself. We're in the 24,000, 21,000. Oh, the Urban Blight was cast. Apparently, the Siva Soup also applies to the power and superpower music. Did not know that. Recon gets struck. Medium tank does strike the anti-air there. This is also wounded. Tank, battlecopter, and infantry. Brown inserted with 156, 125 started now, so red is about a turn behind. Here's some captures. Boost there onto the mountain. Hits the anti-air twice, hits the infantry in there. Pops her own power. Battlecopter gets a boost strike in the tank, one-shotting it. Battlecopter gets a shot on the medium tank. Battlecopter gets a shot on the medium tank. Boost strike there, though wounded. Tank on tank. Tank hits infantry. Battlecopter hits tank. Hits the unit on top of the comm tower. 10 capture progress remaining. Battlecopter, anti-air, tank, and infantry. Anti-air hits a battlecopter. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Another Urban Blight's available for Brown. Some of these properties, this property has 3 capture progress remaining, so Urban Blight will not interrupt it. Tank, and does not commit a Urban Blight. Captures there. Red's at 23, brown's at 22. So this one probably still despicably neutral somewhere based on that odd number captured. Yep, this probably still despicably neutral. 6 capture progress remaining, 4 health unit on top. Good shots there. High size available for Brown Desert. Tank, anti-air, battlecopter, infantry. Will we see the high society or will it be an urban blight? Urban blight will strike this tank down here. And of course the stuff in the reinforcements, but let's see. We do have an urban blight. Cleans up a good number of the wounded stuff. Boost strike there. Does not one-shot us somehow. Well, it was wounded a little bit. But a pretty good sweep there up in north. Down south, red, so it's quite a bit of forces. Infantry, battlecopter, T-copter, recon, and infantry. So got quintuple deployment, which may be a quintuple blighted. Both comm towers catch up by Brown Desert, so we've got 3 versus 1 comm tower right now. Infantry position, infantry, and tank. Oops. Looks like Brown Desert's starting to fall back as well. We do have a full fighter deployed in the field. That may be a little bit overkill versus all the battlecopters. Red's going to be capturing the southern comm tower and some other cities. This may be a Brown Desert urban blight. Triple recon battlecopter by Red. Looks like Red really wants to reconnoiter the area. I love that word, reconnoiter. Artillery range of this tank here. Eventually could be urban blighted. Same this battlecopter going from, which means the 1 health infantry could counterattack, taking it out if it's at 1% health. If that matters really. Its 2 health battlecopters are nice and all, but they're not fantastic. Battlecopter, and triple infantry. Another quintuple deployment. I love saying the word quintuple. It also reminds me of Red Alert 3. Does shoot the 2 battlecopter. Knocks another battlecopter. Artillery strikes tank. Another battlecopter strikes the tank there. Right now, we've got 5 battlecopters ruffling about versus 4 battlecopters ruffling about. Anti-air, artillery, and Mac. The Mac is next to, or somewhat close to a T-copter, not necessarily next to it, as in form of word adjacent, but it is in sprinting range. Anti-air, recon, battlecopter, and infantry. Oh, seemed like that turn lasted a little bit longer than expected. Recon. Tank hits the anti-air. Red has access to a high society, 23 properties. So 2 counters, it should be 25 properties. If not more, let's see. Both players are 23, so it's effectively going to be the same. Yeah, both players have 25 properties, which means plus 75% firepower from the superpower, which is quite significant. Infantry, Neo-Tank, and Infantry. Great turn for Urban Blight against Red, looks like. Fighter takes out Battlecopter. Oh, goes for regular power there. So the Neo-Tank gets blighted. And a couple infantry up here. But overall, Red did stay off of properties. Not a lot of units in range for a high society for Red, so it's probably going to not go for one. Oh, Black boat sunk to the bottom of the shore. Tank, recon, battlecopter, and infantry. Almost enough for another urban blight, which does have a neo-tank parked on top of it now. Recon does go down, hits the infantry on top of the mountainside, knocking it out. Neo-tank, infantry, and infantry. So both players now have a neo-tank on the field. Anti-air takes the battlecopter. Tank does get trapped there, so it's nice. That little trap there. Hits the tank there in return. Red's eyeing for high society, trying to lure stuff on in, has some units in reserve. Without the absurd firepower bonuses, you don't necessarily need to have the strongest units for that plus 70% firepower bonus. Tank, recon, and infantry. Does put around the recon. And it looks like the artillery gets struck. Things well, there's units next to the city there, so booster strikes from it is very likely. But it looks like Brown's getting some great hits up here. A lot of good hits, to say the least. And Brown's pulling back here. Red pushes his way forward. Tank, recon, infantry, battlecopter. Will Red go for a high society? Right now, 27 units versus 41. 203 value versus 148. So Red's about 2 turns behind. He needs to make a power play. Maybe a super power play. Or could just go for a power play. Super power play. Plus 75% firepower global with additional 130% firepower from cities. Additional plus 10 from acting power and or superpower. And another plus 20 from a comm tower. That is probably going to be a one-shot in the anti-air. Yeah, easy one-shot there. Does not take out the tank there. Could have sworn it would. Tank hits tank. Will one-shot it. Battlecopter should one-shot it. High society is now available. Full health infantry unit takes out 8 health infantry. Artillery falls back. Recon gets knocked out. There's no absurd booster strike there on the tank there. Probably close like 200%. Probably wants to avoid being on top of the city from avoid an urban blight. Tank is good strike there. 3 defense stars save this tank. At least from dying, not from pain. Neo-tank, double recon. 161 versus 178. Of course, it is Brown's turn. Fighter will take out the battlecopter. Pops a regular urban blight, which does strike the Neo-tank down south. This Neo-tank still actually did not advance forward last turn. So it's in prime ambush position against this Neo-tank. If anti-air stays alive, then potentially could hit a fighter. Does hit the anti-air. 5 health anti-air can still put some pain on the fighter, maybe 4 points of damage. Red's turn. It's 181 versus 136. Recon strike regular infantry unit there. Recon finish off unit. Boost strike on the anti-air, knocking it out. Battlecopter takes out regular tank. Anti-air goes for the battlecopter. Probably the best target, honestly. Probably better go for it than for the fighter. Softens up the Neo-tank. Hits Neo-tank hard. Anti-air can fully advance the woods. Perhaps try to hit that fighter. I'll just probably trying to stick around and hit one of these battlecopters. Pretty sure the anti-air managed to advance forward in the cover of Fog of War. Tank infantry, yep, in the Fog of War. Seen the anti-air there. If he takes it out, he could try gambling the fighter hit one of these, hit this battlecopter. I think he's aware of this battlecopter. But it would be a bad gamble. Takes out the anti-air boosted strike. Artillery falls back to the forest. Neo-tank falls back as well. And the fighter does fall back as well. Rocket, anti-air, or recon and infantry. We got the rockets. Looks like red's falling back in general as well, so got quite a bit of no man's land appearing. Both players have 23 properties. Brown still about 1 turn ahead. Anti-air, infantry, and another battlecopter. Recon strikes regular infantry unit and hits the other infantry unit, or that same infantry unit. 2 9 health Neo-tanks. Guess how they got to 9 health. We got APC, mech, and recon. Battlecopter and tank here running low on fuel. Tank has 20 fuel. Battlecopter has 29. We have now APC in the field for a bit of a resupply. Can't say if the battlecopter needs more than 29 fuel or 26 fuel. Probably actually does. And spending 5,000 to resupply it is probably a good way to save a $5,000 or $9,000 asset. Not to mention, resupplying that tank is also probably neat as well. Since 15 fuel is not a lot to advance, it will definitely run out of steam pretty quickly. Resupplies those assets, very nice. T-copter could be next turn, 31 fuel. Triple anti-air. Recon gets knocked out in range of some artillery. Rocket advancing inside a forest. As much as you wanted to try to get a booster strike from a city, it's probably best to avoid any possible urban blight with that thing. But its booster strikes would be deadly. Because it's effectively what? Almost a grit. No, that would be a grit grit snipe or super snipe, just without the range benefits. The massive range benefits, so it's not really comparable. Because if I remember correctly, grits with indirect firepower increased to what, plus 40%? And of course the range for both power and superpower. Battlecopter, triple infantry, and another battlecopter, so got a quintuple deployment. Oh, Urban Blight there, strikes a pretty good time. Hits, of course, those units that first got spawned. Hits this infantry unit over here, and that's about it. Let's see if, oh, hits this tank here. A rocket in range of the tank as well as the recon. Probably a good idea to strike the tank there, then use a booster strike to hit the recon. I used to go for the recon. Try to go for a boost strike on the anti-air. I mean, anti-air boost strike onto the battlecopter would be about 200%, if not 250%. Does take it out from normal way. Get a good couple rounds into the artillery, knocking it out. And now trying to capture it up. Could see Urban Blight potentially high side next turn. Battlecopter, recon, and infantry. And sort of 254,000 versus 192. Both players are working with a large number of assets, but Brown does have about 2, if not 3 turn advantage right now. Does take the battlecopter, pops an Urban Blight, softs up this infantry unit there. New tank takes to the APC. Battlecopter hits tank. Tank hits tank. Recon, and tank. Hits the recon again. Rocket fired, artillery fired. This artillery's out of range. Oh, gets trapped there. Found the mech. The mech can get it. Has 3 targets of tanks in front of it, or can take time to take out a anti-air, put a round into it. Fighter lurking in the woods. Tank, tank, tank. Does take out the battle copter there. Neo tank strikes medium tank. Mech strikes tank. Neo tank strikes regular tank. Battle copter hits infantry. Battle copter or infantry hits infantry. Do now have an urban blight. Tank hits artillery, which is already stopped up by the urban blight. Resupply there. Hits the infantry unit there. Does not take it out. Recon gets boost strike on the infantry unit there and boost strike there. Recon takes a shot. Infantry takes a shot. ATR takes a shot. Battlecopter gets a good strike on the tank. Battlecopter strikes the artillery. Recon, artillery, battlecopter, infantry. Rockets got so far 3 shots on down. Another urban blight activated. Softens up the units in the back. Hits the APC. And it hits an infantry unit there. Hits the recon. Fighter takes out, sorties the battlecopter. Boost strike there on the infantry unit there. Clean sweep there. Does strike the artillery against the urban blight. It's probably at 1% health at the moment. Tank, ATR, and infantry. Insert 108,000 for 136. Neo tank strikes regular tank. Battlecopter strikes Neo or medium tank. Neo tank takes out ATR. Mech trying to capture the city. ATR manages to get a first strike, or does strike the fighter, who's almost actually out of fuel. This guy does all that ATR could finish it off. Does. Hits the recon twice. Tank, tank, tank. Right now it's 22 versus 24,000 income, so pretty similar. Make that one different now, so it's 21 versus 25. Does take out the anti-air there. Boost strike there. Artillery in range Neo tank, however, it's at 3 health. Hits the infantry unit up north. Hits the tank, hits the tank again, does not finish off. Does hit the artillery now. Red has urban blight available. Hits the mech, tank, APC, and infantry. Battlecopter strikes tank. We do have now another urban blight activated by red. I wonder how much the power costs. The initial cost is 27,000. For red, it is at 59,000. Both are at 59,000. Infantry, 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 and a battlecopter got another quintuple deployment. Here's the recon. With the rocket, actually. The rocket's down to 1 ammo, needs another APC, or it does have APC here. Battlecopter, infantry, infantry, and anti-air. Battlecopter just strike infantry there. Battlecopter strikes tank. Tank hits tank. Recon does not. Tank, Neo tank knocks out regular tank. This Neo tank is not in range of this Neo tank, just out of range. Infantry, recon, recon, and T-copter. Ground does lay down another power. It's the battlecopter. Neo tank, infantry, infantry. Tank hits tank. Tank hits tank. Battlecopter finishes off. Artillery does strike the anti-air. Does get knocked out. Nice little pick there. Couple captures down south. 11. 3 capture progress remaining, but that's infantry units nearby. Does spot it, and Neo tank strikes it. Battlecopter strike the Neotic here. Triple anti-air. Rocket takes out another target. It's actually out of ammo now, so the APC next turn will need to resupply it. Or risk being, well, out of ammo. You can't have luck if you don't have ammo. If Rex told me anything. Or you need luck if you don't have ammo. Infantry, recon, anti-air, and battlecopter. APC does get trapped. Battlecopter will strike battlecopter. Artillery, recon, infantry, and another battlecopter. Does have the infantry unit there. Of course, there's possible boost strike there. Not like an anti-air needs boost to strike. Got a full bomber now on the field, and then triple infantry. Anti-air gets a boost strike there, probably close to 200% damage. I always like seeing these big numbers. Yep, 200% at most. With a superpower, probably be even higher. Just out of my curiosity. Yep, that's what it looks like on superpower. Sorry, big numbers. Tank. Strike the battlecopter there. Boost strike there on the battlecopter, easily knocking it out. Rocket is still here. I wonder if Red knows about the rocket. Battlecopter, tank, and infantry. Does take out the anti-air. Another battlecopter going on down. Does get trapped there, but still is able to unload. Tank, or battlecopter, and triple infantry. Another quintuple deployment. Does strike the anti-air with the rocket once again. Bomber strikes infantry unit. See, next power is so 94, 64. Red maybe eyeing for high society at the current rate. Does see the infantry unit there. T-copter. Anti-air, and infantry. APC does fall back. This infantry unit there. Bomber strikes the infantry unit in the mountain. The Alpine troop does go down. Black was actually pretty low in fuel. Red's, of course, went down a long time ago. Tank, recon, infantry, and battlecopter. It is now day 40. One reason why I want to do this replay, it's day 40, the Kindle mirror. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And again, you don't really see games above day 40, so those are the replays even for the mirror matchups, so I sort of do recon, and infantry. If it's fun, like a bit more mechanically interesting, like Kindle, probably more likely to do a mirror matchup. Which plays with T-copter and Black Boat. We got triple transport there. You know what? Get all the transports. Actually, there's a bit more transports. You still need a lander, a cruiser, and an aircraft carrier if you want all the transports. Bomber, triple infantry. Red's very close to a superpower. This unit up north. Another quintuple deployment, but this time includes a recon. Hits the captain unit up north. 2 infantry does find our artillery piece and tank. Battlecopter, tank, recon, and infantry. A lot of weights, you monster. Will we see a high society this turn? Brown ends turn 257, red starts turn 211. We do have the full superpower now activated. Takes out the anti-air. Ooh, 2 of anti-air did how much damage? I'm generally surprised that 2 of anti-air did that much damage. Granted, this is on top of city. In total, with additional 24 properties, so we're talking about 72%. 2 comm towers, plus 10. With 130%, like, that is so many firepower bonuses. Reduced by 80%. Still does 8 points damage. That's sort of obscene. Easy one shot there. Battlecopter takes out Battlecopter. Neo tank nukes the regular tank there. For probably 150% damage. Nope, 212. Easy one shot there. Tank clears out the infantry unit there. Tank clears out. Oh, 2's defense stars saved it. That was a massive boost strike there on that recon. Sorry, numbers big. Why am I having trouble? 280%. Big numbers go up. But to be fair, I did not expect 2 of anti-air to do that much damage to a battlecopter. Triple infantry, another pair of battlecopters. And Brown could pop his own high society. Urban Blight. Which of course hits the quintuple deployment. Hits this tank here. This anti-air is now definitely down to 1%. Most of this artillery as well. Does take out that unit there. There goes the APC. Instead of 125 versus 189. Artillery, recon. Bomber does strike one of the recons. Anti-air over here maybe in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can be in range. Clearing out a good number of units there. Does strike the artillery. Capture the property, 23 versus 23 once again. Takes out the battlecopter, Neo tank takes out the anti-air. So that unit there, artillery strikes the anti-air. It's the Neo tank, so it's like he will not be able to range the bomber. Tank, and infantry. Another power there. Urban Blight's at the 75,000 for 64. Boost strike there, hitting that battlecopter. Anti-air takes up battlecopter. Bomber nukes the Neo tank. That's maybe game over for red now, losing the Neo tank like that. The bomber could be struck by anti-air on the shore. But then it's nothing really stopped this Neo tank here. Not adjacent to a property for a boost strike there. Not even bothering starting to capture the comm tower with 2 health. Anti-air puts a good round into the bomber. Neotech gets struck twice. Battlecopter hits Battlecopter. Anti-air, recon, tank. We almost have another superpower available for red. It's the Battlecopter. Red can now pop out another superpower. Bomber falling back with 2 health. Can be repaired up a little bit by the black boat. This thing is in range of artillery piece, but only one of them. Battlecopter, anti-air, infantry, and recon. I think a lot of units getting weighted. And red decides to pop the power, not the superpower. Which does hit this anti-air. This anti-air gets struck normally. Recon gets hit. And does machine gun a little bit there. Does not take it out. Battlecopter, tank, and pair of infantry. Hits the recon twice. It's the infantry unit there. Tank hits tank, or battlecopter hits tank. Does take out the recon. Boost strike onto the artillery. It's the battlecopter. New tank charge forward. Gets a good shot there. Brown has a power now. Yeah, it feels like Brown's getting an ever better position now. Red has been doing a good job. Been behind most of this game, but took some critical losses. Does take another battlecopter. Tank hits tank. Interrupts a capture. Both players at 23 property, so that equal income at the moment. Booster strike there. Does not take out the tank. Going for the comm tower. And will body block the comm tower with infantry and possibly with a T-copter. There is open sea there. Recon, double anti-air. Battlecopter does strike tank. Tank, recon, and infantry. Hits some infantry. Boot strike on the Neo tank, getting great hit there. Bomber gets spotted of wrong moment. Does have anti-air in reserve though. Stops this capture. This capture's course been interrupted as well. And looks like red does go ahead and resign. This Angrade saying, thank you for watching, and on to next replay. As mentioned beforehand, that shall be my last replay tonight, so everyone